month, we have been talking about what to do when things don't go quite your way in the photo shoot realm.
When life hands you lemons.
When life hands you lemons. So today
you
we're
make
going to
coffee.
Make coffee. So today we are going to be talking about what to do when the dad at the photo shoot is kind of a grump and maybe he's cramping your style.
Ugh.
We're going to talk all about that.
Been there. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. So dad sucks. That has happened to me multiple times.
It has. What was like the worst experience ever?
I feel like the dad who doesn't want to be there is the worst dad of all. There's two worst
dad of all.
Two worst. Okay, not the worst dad. Like he's not the worst dad, but the worst dad to have to photograph is what I mean. So there's two ones that have stood out to me. The dad that doesn't want to be there, like his wife was literally like, not a choice. Here's your outfit. We're going, you know? So the dad that doesn't want to be there. And then the dad who has like never interacted with his kids ever, you know? Like he works 800 hours a week and is super duper uncomfortable with his own children. Those are the two hardest ones for me that I've ever had. How about you? Have you ever had a dad that was hard?
Yeah. I had a dad that was just super, super negative, and it kind of put this negative blanket over everything. He was just rushing everybody. He was annoyed with his kids, and it causes problems for the whole shoot. The other thing that I have quite often, like I don't get that very often, but what I get really often is the dad who's dun, 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 dun. You know, he's a business guy. Yeah. He's got a million things to do and he is ready to go before he even gets there. And that guy, he's not really necessarily like a jerky dad.
Right.
It's just that he
wants to get her done.
He wants to get her done. And so here's one awesome thing that happened. I had this guy and he was like the dun dun dun. He was acting great for the shoot, but you could tell he was in a hurry and he wanted to be out of there.
Yeah.
We did the reveal night and I had, the dessert, we were talking and he said, this was the best photo shoot that I've ever had. This was the best experience I've ever had. And I was stunned because
like,
in the photo shoot, it's not like he was like, hey, I'm having so much fun. I mean, he was kind of going just with the flow and ready to be done when we were done. And so I asked him, I said, what was it that was so good? I mean, you feel kind of awkward asking that, but you got to know, right?
Right.
And so he said, you took control and you didn't dilly-dally and you directed us and then we were done. And so for him, being assertive, giving direction and making the shoot flow and getting it over with, that was what was important for him. And I have a feeling that if we would have gone past an hour, he would have become real grumpy. Yeah. And so for me, I feel like within the first couple minutes, you can feel out the dad and you can tell if he wants to be there or not. And if he doesn't want to be there, he's going to be almost as challenging as the kids. Yeah. So you've got to be on top of it and make sure that you get this done within an hour.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. All right. So let's talk about some ways that we can make the dad a little bit more relaxed. Give him a beer.
Right. No. Give him a beer. Yes.
Just kidding. Get him arrested for drinking in public.
That's a really great idea, actually. Just like we give the kids a gift, we give the dad
to bribe the dad. Okay, so my number one, because this also is another kind of dad that I've had, is the disciplinarian dad. Who's like, who just wants to like have control and just really make sure his kids are in line, and that's not going to ever result in really fun pictures.
Right.
And so I like to start the session off by just telling mom and dad, but dad in general, that I will control the kids. Please don't worry about the children. We've talked about this that's also how it will also make it easier to handle the kids is to have mom and dad step back, but it helps handle dad to say like, this is not your responsibility. Like their behavior, unless like they're biting me or something, which that did happen one time. Unless they're like really out of hand, like, please let me just go with the flow, and alleviating that stress for them, I feel like is huge.
Yeah. Yeah, that is huge. Okay. So one thing that I've done in the past too, so that disciplinarian dad, when his kids are silly, he gets ticked most of the time.
You can tell their skin is crawling, right?
Yes. He does not like get into that silliness with them. In fact, he feels embarrassed, most likely. Yeah. And he feels like the kid is putting you out as a photographer. So one thing that helps is that if I do have a silly kid and I have a really serious dad, I let them know, like I give them permission. You know what? Let's be silly for this shot. And then that way, it's like, I have now given the permission. The dad doesn't feel like he has to keep his kid in line or be embarrassed with this kid. Right. And then after that, I can say, okay, so that was a silly shot. Now let's do a shot where we're just smiling, you know? Right. So I'm giving that direction. And again, I am letting that dad know that I know what I'm doing. I am in full control. I've got this. Right. And I think that is what we have to do, especially with those dads, is that we have to infuse confidence in them. And if we're all like, oh yeah, whatever, just do whatever. Yeah. Like that is not going to work with that type of a dad. So you've got to really feel that out within the first couple minutes of the session. And the more the dad wants to get done quicker, the more directive that you have to be. Yes. Or directive, is that even a word? The more of a director you need to be.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So another one is to remind them why they're doing this and who they're doing this for. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe dads don't see the value in photography, right? Mm-hmm. Financially and time-wise, you know? And so just reminding them, like, this is what are they doing this for? Are they doing this for their wife? Are they doing this so that their kids have memories later on? Like, those kind of things. And not in a condescending way, because that could come off, like, very condescending to be like, just remember why you're doing this, you know?
Right.
But it sort of, I would say, goes in with the pep talk. Like, we're here. We're going to get this done. And you're going to be left with this. Like, this is your end result. This is what we're working for, even though it's uncomfortable a little bit, or even though it's not the first thing that you'd be wanting to do bright and early on a Saturday morning, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And so going along with that pep talk, so this is actually, Anna and I have talked about this. This is the first thing that we do at the very beginning of the shoot. So if this is a family shoot, you know, sometimes I'm taking the kids aside, but many times I'm taking the kids and the dad aside too. Like, I'm having the dad listen to this and I remind them, like,
doing it for mom.
This is for mom, right? This is for mom. This is going to be the most cherished thing that she has of you guys. And so if we can all cooperate and we can all work together, then we can actually get done quicker, you know?
Yeah.
So
the great part about that is that you're doing it like you're talking to the children. So you don't have, so dad doesn't have to feel like you're lecturing dad. He feels like he's part of this conversation, but he's also got to absorb it and hear that, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Sure. So I want to close out by saying, dads are amazing. And so many of the dads that I've worked with have actually been so wonderful. Some have even done this for their wife, like initiated it for their wife. So we don't want to make it sound like dads are just total grumps, right? Right. But there are some dads who just are not into it. And so for those dads, you've got to feel it out and you've got to adjust, you know, as you go along. Yeah. But there are also some dads who really see the value in this and are so excited about it. And so we just want to, like, for me, when the dad is so amazing and cooperative, like, I really do want to give him a gift. So actually the idea of giving them beer, maybe that's an idea. Anna, maybe you should have
maybe you show up to the reveal with some beer.
Yes. Or a cigar or something else unhealthy.
Something else unhealthy.
All right, you guys, that's our coffee talk for today. Remember, we're at thesnapsociety.com every single week, and we want to make sure that you're with us and that you're commenting below. So Anna, what do we want them to comment below?
I want to know, have you ever had a challenging dad? Have you ever had to work with a challenging dad? And what did you do to combat that situation? Let's hear it in the comments. Thanks so much for watching.
Yeah, see you next week.
Bye.